Karmelo Anthony is charged with killing Austin Metcalf by stabbing him in the chest during a dispute over seating in the bleachers at a high school track meet. But even before today's news conference began, there was some tension in the room. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel there when it all happened today. Casey.
Yeah, Heather, this is the first time that we've heard from Karmelo Anthony's parents since their 17-year-old son was accused of stabbing another student to death at a high school track meet in Frisco earlier this month. But before today's press conference could even get underway, a pretty uncomfortable moment when the victim's father showed up and then was escorted out by police. As the media was setting up and getting into place for today's press conference at the Next Generation Action Network's offices, Jeff Metcalf, Austin Metcalf's dad, made a surprise appearance. He told me off camera he wanted to hear what was said and did not have plans to make a statement. Then, in another unexpected turn of events, Dallas police showed up and walked Mr. Metcalf out of the building. Minutes later, Karmelo Anthony's parents, Andrew Anthony and Kayla Hayes, came to the podium alongside event organizer Dominique Alexander. Alexander had this to say about it.
That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
It has been a little more than 2 weeks since police say Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest during a dispute over seating in the bleachers at a track meet. Austin's twin says his brother died in his arms. Immediately, the case garnered national attention. Anthony's parents wanted to use Thursday's forum to dispel what they characterized as rumors and misinformation being spread about them on the internet.
My 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
They say, contrary to what's being put on social media, they have not yet accessed a single dime from the online fundraising campaign, which has yielded nearly $450,000 in contributions from the public.
The claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false.
Through tears, Kayla Hayes spoke about the barrage of threats and harassment her family has endured.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to.
Family advocates also questioned a recent decision made by the school district.
Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation.
A spokesperson for Frisco ISD tells Fox 4 they can't comment on the specific case due to privacy laws. However, if a student is accused of a serious crime, the district looks at the case and decides whether they should be disciplined, adding if they've completed the requirements to graduate, they may do so early, but they're not allowed on district property. So the atmosphere at today's press conference was rather controlled. We were initially under the impression that Anthony's parents would be answering select questions from the press. That did not happen. Only prepared statements were made, and then it was all over. Steve.
All right, Casey, a couple questions. Was the murdered student's father, was he disruptive? And by that, I mean, was he saying things to make everybody uncomfortable, and that's why he was removed? Or what do we know about that?
No, he didn't say a word. In fact, I watched him. He sat there quietly. A couple of reporters went up to him and started asking him questions, but he said that he was not preparing any kind of a statement. He wasn't planning to talk. He said he simply wanted to be there to hear what was being said.
All right, I could only find one instance of a charged murder suspect wanting to walk in his or her graduation, complete school, that type of thing. It was a North Carolina case, 2016. He didn't walk. Did you get the idea they're going to press that issue, the family?
They were just pointing out the fact that Frisco ISD, they said, was rushing to judgment and wasn't giving him due process in terms of he has been charged with the crime, but he has not been formally tried and has not gone before a jury of his peers. So Frisco ISD says, though, that if a student is accused or charged with a serious crime like he was, that the district reserves the right to determine what type of disciplinary action will be taken, and that if it is expulsion, that they're still allowed to graduate. They're just not allowed on campus. In other words, they can't participate in the commencement activities.
Got it. All right,
Steve.
That's Casey Stiegel in downtown Dallas tonight. Casey, thank you.
Within the past hour, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has been released from the Collin County Jail after posting bond. A judge reduced his bond this morning from $1 million to $250,000. He's facing a murder charge after police say he stabbed another teenager, Austin Metcalf, while at a track meet at a Frisco high school. Stephen Dial is in McKinney with more. Stephen.
Karmelo Anthony left the Collin County Jail in a suit but had nothing to say to the reporters before he got into that vehicle. The district court judge says that she looked at all the factors in this case, him not having a criminal history, and that led to her making her decision to reduce his bond. 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Karmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family.
Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but we did capture the Anthony family arriving. His father, Andrew, testified in the hearing. District Court Judge Angela Tucker said that she's never gotten this volume of calls and had to have this level of security in the courtroom in her 13 years on the bench. Court documents say Anthony stabbed Metcalf during a fight. When an officer arrived, court documents say Anthony told the officer, "I was protecting myself." Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis spoke after the hearing.
The judge has made the call, and so what's important is what's next, and it's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Anthony's father testified he's taking a leave from work because of the incident, and his wife is a stay-at-home mother with 3 other children. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up the fact that more than $400,000 have been raised for the Anthony family, saying a reduction is not needed because they have the funds. A big question in this case will be, why did Anthony bring a weapon to a high school stadium? It's a question that was asked of his attorney.
That's an understandable question, but it's not something that, frankly, we're prepared to even go into.
Now, in the opening statement to the media from that interview that you just heard, he led with talking about self-defense. Again, the court documents mention self-defense. We'll have to wait and see how that defense will be made in court when things pan out. Now, according to the judge, the terms of the bond are house arrest and ankle monitor. She told him to stay off social media, and he has to personally call her bailiff every Friday morning, not his parents, but him. And there's a list of other things that is set, and if he violates that, he'll return to the Collin County Jail.
All right, Stephen Dial live for us. Thank you, Stephen.
2 days after a gunman shot 4 students at Wilmer-Hutchins High School, Dallas ISD finally answered questions about the shooting.
The district said the shooter, who appeared to be targeting one person in particular, was in and out of the school in less than 2 minutes. Fox 4's Lori Brown live in Dallas with the story. Lori.
Heather, the superintendent said that the school district will place administrative staff at the school's 13 side and back entrances for the remaining 23 days left of school.
Surveillance images obtained by Fox 4 News show the violence unleashed by a gunman in less than 2 minutes. One student appeared to be shot with the .40 caliber weapon at point-blank range. Thursday, Superintendent Dr. Stephanie Elizalde said all 4 students are expected to fully recover. The gunshots, followed by a teacher's reaction, can be heard while these girls were shooting a video nearby on a cell phone.
We understand the frustrations, parents and students, and trust me, we're all feeling that frustration, and we are frustrated ourselves.
Dallas Police Chief Albert Martinez said the district would not name the suspect because of student privacy laws, but we know his identity is Tracy Haynes Jr. and that he turned himself in 8 hours after the shooting at 9 p.m. Martinez says the suspect was a student at Wilmer-Hutchins High School, that he parked on the north side of the school at 12:56 p.m., got out 2 minutes later and approached a door on the west side of the school that was locked on the outside. At 1:01 p.m., a student inside the school opened the door. The shooter opened fire moments after entering, wounding 4 students in the hallway. At 1:03 p.m., he left out the same door he came in and drove off.
From the point of entry into the school to the time he exit is less than 2 minutes.
Shortly after the shooting, parents were allowed to reunite with their children in a stadium next to the school. At the time, the district said the school was secured, but did not say anything about the status of the suspect.
Why did the district wait for 4 hours to tell the public that the gunman was on the loose?
Yes, ma'am. So in these situations, first of all, we're dealing with a very large high school. Our protocols are very simple. We go in to stop the killing, stop the dying. It's written in law. It's written in our policy. Once we've established that, we're rendering aid, ensuring we get the students out, and then we start sweeping the school. Usually, with all these situations, there's always a second shooter, real or imagined. At the time, we did not feel that we needed to put out that information. Maybe it was slower, maybe it wasn't. But it wasn't going to exactly do a public good to put it out immediately.
About 30 to 40 minutes after the shooting, Milton Nieto says he saw a teenager in distress about a car crash. He picked him up, but when he asked to go all the way to an address in Waxahachie, he dropped him off in Red Oak, where another driver picked him up.
When we turned on the news and saw you pointed at a wooded area, that's when things just started clicking.
This happened all before Dallas ISD revealed the shooter was not in custody.
We also didn't really have a good description. We had a name. Actually, we had several names. But that being said, we sent out our law enforcement teams to go find him.
The police chief says this incident did not come from a failure to follow safety protocols, which was the case with another shooting at the campus almost exactly 1 year ago. Martinez also said in this case, the shooting may not have been preventable, but the district says it will assess how to better monitor when a side door locked to the outside is opened from the inside.
We will be putting 13 additional staff members from now until the end of the school year at each of those entrances, so that I can guarantee that another student cannot open one of these doors from the inside.
The district is still determining if the student who opened the door for Haynes was part of the plot and if he will face criminal charges. Investigators don't yet know how Haynes managed to get a handgun. Heather.
In an unsecured door. Investigators say Haynes began firing at students indiscriminately, approaching one student who was unable to run and appearing to take a point-blank shot. This surveillance still shows the suspected shooter standing over one of the victims. All 4 shot, expected to survive.
There was a young man that looked like he was in distress. He's panicking, waving cars down.
Just a few miles from Wilmer-Hutchins, Milton Nieto unknowingly picked up Haynes, who claimed he had just been in a car wreck. Nieto eventually dropped the suspect off at a Red Oak gas station. It wasn't until hours later, when Nieto was watching Fox 4 News, it all clicked and he immediately called police.
My heart just started beating a million miles per hour.
Antong Lucky is with Urban Specialist, a nonprofit organization that works to curb gun violence and poverty. His team Tuesday was already trying to get in contact with the victims of the Wilmer-Hutchins shooting when Lucky unexpectedly received a call from the suspect's aunt.
She wanted to turn her nephew in, and she didn't want nothing to happen to him.
Police had a Waxahachie neighborhood swarmed searching for Haynes, and police posted up at the South Central Patrol Division waiting for him to turn himself in. Lucky acted as a mediator between a detective and Haynes. Haynes finally agreed to come meet at Lucky's office, and the two talked. Lucky says Haynes was willing at that point to turn himself in.
I don't want to die. I want to get killed, so I'm going to turn myself in.
Late Tuesday, Haynes finally turned himself in. The video captured by social media live streamers smashed the topic. Intake video shows the 17-year-old being booked into the Dallas County Jail. Investigators haven't released a motive for the shooting. Lucky says Haynes was vague when asked why he decided to open fire in the hallway.
He talked about it was some back and forth, maybe like threats that were going back and forth on his life from the other individuals, et cetera, et cetera.
It's still unclear whether the victims were targeted, bystanders, or a mix of both. And we reached out to Dallas ISD today with multiple questions. We included a question like, will the student who let the suspected shooter in the side door, will that student be criminally charged? And also, we know there was a shooting at Wilmer-Hutchins High School 1 year ago. So how will the district ensure that this school is safe moving forward? Dallas ISD announced it will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we hope to ask those questions in person. Steve and Heather.
Very good. Yeah, they need to be answered. Peyton Yeager, live tonight. Thank you.
So Sky 4 was overhead as students evacuated from the school and worked their way over to the nearby Eagles Stadium. That's where they reunited with families.
Parents recalled the frantic phone calls and text messages they were getting from their children telling their kids to hide. That's frightening for students. This was a terrifying reminder of what happened at the same school last year. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager covered it last year and is back today covering another school shooting at the same school. Peyton.
Steve and Heather, I was here all afternoon as those students were reunited with their terrified parents. Now, students tell us this shooting took place near the cafeteria. So those students, they were taking cover in nearby bathrooms. They were taking cover in nearby classrooms. Some just found the nearest door and started running. Some students tell me they witnessed their fellow classmates being shot, and then they were taken away in ambulances to Dallas hospitals.
Yeah, I heard like 3 bangs on the ground, and I thought, oh, a lunch lady drop a pad or something, right? And then after a little bit, I just heard bang after bang after bang, and everybody started running. No, but I saw blood on the floor.
Gunfire inside Dallas ISD's Wilmer-Hutchins High School caused hundreds of students to look for the nearest exit.
All I heard was shooting. Somebody fell, and I just started running.
Police responded to the Southeast Dallas High School just after 1 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. 4 people were injured, according to Dallas Fire Rescue. The suspect took off. This student tells Fox 4 he watched a teenage boy run by his classroom bleeding. Another student passed an injured teenager.
I just seen like where they was shot in their leg. I just seen that. He called me and said, "Mama, I got bullets flying around my head," and I was like frantic.
As investigators ensured the school was secured, some parents watched and waited from the perimeter. Like Shauna Williams, her son called her while he was near the cafeteria.
He said he saw 2 of his friends get shot. I said, "Hide someplace, baby," and she said, I am, but shot someone and I'm freaking out.
Maritza Portillo texted her stepdaughter to find a safe location. Eventually, all students were reunited with their parents at the nearby football stadium.
And this is like my second year in high school, so both years the school got shot up.
Promises of more security were made 1 year ago at Wilmer-Hutchins High after a student got a gun inside last April. Students and parents on the same campus forced to relive that panic once again.
I can't keep going through this as a parent. I'm telling you, it's very frightening.
Back out here live at the high school, we do have some police cruisers who are driving around the school, keeping watch and providing security. Now, classes here at Wilmer-Hutchins High School, they are canceled for the rest of the week. The nearby elementary school, that will remain open. Steve.
Fox 4 has uncovered that a Dallas man convicted of 2 random murders might be connected to a third, as well as 4 additional shootings that left people wounded.
Investigators say there was seemingly no motive behind the 2 murders Kevin Sheffield carried out in the spring of 2022. And now the case files obtained by Fox 4 revealed Dallas police have been investigating Sheffield's possible involvement in other unsolved cases happening before those original 2 murders. Fox 4's David Centenary is live with what he has uncovered from DPD headquarters. David.
Well, Kevin Sheffield is serving a 50-year sentence for 2 random murders. He has no known connections to those 2 people he killed. We've now obtained police body camera footage showing officers trailing, confronting, and then arresting Sheffield. We've also obtained hundreds of documents showing that for quite some time, police have been investigating possible connections to other shootings, but it does not appear the public was made aware of that.
Come over here real quick, man. Come over here. Hello, why you got any weapons? Nah, man.
May 26, 2022, Kevin Sheffield questioned by Dallas police officers because he's parked in a fire lane.
No, bro, this don't feel right, bro. I don't like this right here, bro.
Sheffield senses something is off.
Hey, that's not a crime, though. You could tell me to move it, I'ma move it. You don't have to. Nah, bro. That just, nah, bro.
He wonders if there's more than a parking issue.
That's what I'm talking about. I will move around, but you come patting me down, checking for weapons, like you profiling me, bro.
Well, there was more. Officers were tracking Sheffield for several days because the Chevy Malibu he was driving was connected to 2 random murders.
Nothing makes us feel better. Nothing.
Tamara Size talking about the murder of her uncle, Joseph Size.
The hurt, the pain, it never goes away.
On May 17th, 2022, Size was walking down East Ridge Drive in Northeast Dallas when Sheffield, driving his mother's Malibu, shot and killed the 65-year-old. Those shell casings connected Sheffield to another random murder 3 miles away 1 month earlier. 64-year-old Mohammed Kamara shot outside his Skillman Street apartment while leaving for work. Last September, Sheffield pled guilty to both murders.
In the courtroom, his reaction was no remorse.
During sentencing, Judge Brandon Birmingham mentioned additional cases.
There were some other cases, but I'm not sure that they've been filed.
Dallas PD and prosecutors would not discuss those still unsolved cases with Fox 4. But after obtaining hundreds of pages of case files, we've uncovered that a box of ammunition and loose rounds found inside the Malibu might connect Sheffield to 5 additional shootings in Northeast Dallas. 4 people were wounded, 1 person was killed.
No, if you resist, it's gonna be a different game, man. Relax, man. Relax. No, this is not cool, bro.
A map related to ballistics data in Sheffield's case file groups together the 7 shootings. All happened outside in the same general area, including the 2 murders Sheffield pleaded guilty to. The shootings began on Christmas Eve 2021. Someone was shot in the leg off West Ferris Branch Boulevard. The next month, someone was shot in the arm while getting into their car off Ridgecrest Road. 12 days later, someone parked in a vehicle was shot off Larmonda Street. And on Valentine's Day, 2022, someone was shot off Skillman Street. In these 4 shootings, the victims survived. But there's also the murder of 61-year-old Lisa Avery off Whitehurst Drive. The day before Valentine's Day, 2022, Avery was found dead in the street. A case document reads, fired cartridge cases recovered at the scene matched fired cartridge cases at the other shootings. 2 months later, Kamara was murdered by Sheffield. In Kamara's case, Dallas Police Department never issued a community alert, despite similarities in the unsolved shootings, including one of the shootings also happening in Kamara's Skillman Street apartment complex. The department also never posted about Kamara's murder to its blog site, as it typically does with murders. 1 month later, Sheffield went on to murder Size.
I do think if that alert was put out, it would have made people to be more cautious in the area.
There's no telling if a community alert would have changed Size's path that night or if it would have caused Sheffield to lay low.
Who's to say? If that was put out, he might not have been out there.
Okay, why y'all like bagging my stuff up? Like what did I do? I'm finna go to jail.
After Fox 4 began questioning Dallas PD's transparency, the department emailed us a statement reading, prior to 2022, not all homicides were posted on the blog. It is now our standard practice to release the preliminary information about homicides or suspected homicides. The department declined multiple requests to make someone available to interview about the investigations.
They dropped the ball.
In Sheffield's case file, police noted that Avery was shot and killed in a similar manner as Size. Since Joseph Size's murder is the case which led to Sheffield being caught, his niece believes his death may have prevented future shootings.
Because it was his killing that connected it and got Kevin off the streets.
She also wonders if Sheffield will receive additional charges for unsolved shootings.
I think about that all the time.
Sheffield is now 23 years old. He is projected to be released from prison in the year 2072. However, he is going to be eligible for parole in 2047. At that point in time, he will be 45 years old. Steve, Heather.
All right, David, you mentioned a couple of times these unsolved cases, these additional cases. What is the status of those? Are there active investigations ongoing? What's the status right now?
Yes, so the 4 shootings they're investigating in which people survived, Dallas Police Department tells me that those cases have been suspended, meaning they are effectively put on pause. It did not elaborate as to why. As far as the murder of Lisa Avery, the department just says no arrest at this time. The investigation is still ongoing.
All right. Okay. David Santendri outside Dallas Police Headquarters. Thank you, David.
The case against Texas 7 inmate Randy Halperin is on hold again. This time, the delay caused by a request from the Dallas County District Attorney. Good evening, everybody. I'm Casey Siegel. We appreciate you being here tonight. That hearing scheduled for today did not happen because now the DA has asked that his office be recused from the case. Fox 4's Sean Rabb is live now in our newsroom with more on what went down today in court. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Casey, let me tell you, certainly not what was supposed to happen. We were in court to learn if one of Randy Halperin's defense attorneys might be removed from the case. And we found out the district attorney wants off the case, saying his office has a conflict of interest.
I think I need to let everybody know what's going on.
The Dallas County District Attorney requested a hearing to determine whether court-appointed co-counsel for Randy Halperin, Heath Harris, should be removed from the defense because of his possible post-conviction involvement in this case when he worked for the late District Attorney Craig Watkins.
We are not going to be able to have this hearing today based on a motion to recuse from the Dallas County District Attorney's office.
Now, the DA is requesting to be removed from the case, filing a motion Friday that one of the current chief prosecutors worked for the law firm that filed documents in 2005 to overturn Halperin's conviction for his part in killing Irving police officer Aubrey Hawkins as a member of the Texas 7 prison escapees back in 2000. Halperin was ordered a new trial last year because the original trial judge made anti-Semitic comments. Halperin is Jewish. The case can't go forward, though, until the court decides whether the DA's office will continue with prosecution or a special prosecutor is appointed.
So, unfortunately, it's out of my control, but we are going to go ahead and reset that case, reset this case for that hearing ASAP.
Any lingering grounds for appeal, they want to avoid it. And that's why they're trying to avoid any conflicts and avoid any taints in this case.
Defense attorney Anthony Farmer is not part of the case.
The concern with the defense is going to be, well, you guys knew this all along. Why is this just now coming to the forefront?
Halperin's attorney, Heath Harris, requesting speedy trial, told Judge Leila Lawrence Mays these motions amount to nothing more than stalling tactics.
Because, again, we've gotten delay after delay, and I want to make sure that my client's rights are protected.
Okay.
From any other potential motions that are further delaying.
The judge set the hearing on the DA's motion to be removed from the case this Thursday. If the DA's office is removed, it means another reset.
You have to give ample time for any new attorney to get up to speed. And being that this is a high-profile case, there's hours of investigation, fact-finding, and research to do before being prepared on this case.
A heavy ruling looming in front of Judge Mays after this Thursday's hearing. Whether Halperin will have his new trial sooner or maybe much, much later.
Wow. All right, Sean Rabb, we appreciate you keeping us posted on that. Thank you so much. A 13-year-old girl made a dangerous mistake and ended up becoming a victim of sex trafficking in Dallas. Victims' advocates say it is a heartbreaking example of a crime that is invisible to many people. Fox 4's David Centendry is live now with a look at how alarming this problem truly is. Hi, David.
Hi, Casey. Yeah, this number might surprise you or some of our viewers, but according to one local organization that works to stop sex trafficking, it says on any given night in Dallas, about 400 underage girls are sex trafficked. A 13-year-old girl sex trafficked in Northwest Dallas between April 1st and April 8th, according to police, while her family desperately searched for her.
Over there by Webb Chapel and Royal Lane.
League of United Latin American Citizens local president Hilga Duarte translating for the girl's mother. Fox 4 is not naming or showing the mother, who says she's unsure what exactly led to her daughter being trafficked.
Or if she went on her own, did they take her, or what?
25-year-old Jordan Davidson, charged with compelling prostitution under age 18. According to an arrest warrant, the 13-year-old admitted she got into a car with an unknown suspect who dropped her off at the homeless encampment off Harry Hines Boulevard. The girl told police she felt stuck as she did not know how to return home safely. The teen claims to have met Davidson, who at first taught her how to be safe and street smart, until allegedly forcing her to perform sex acts for money.
You know, it's always so heartbreaking when you see these stories. It was also unsurprising.
Bianca Davis, CEO of New Friends, New Life, an advocacy nonprofit helping victims of sex trafficking, many victims, teen girls.
On any given night, 400 teen girls are trafficked on the streets of Dallas. The average age a girl is trafficked here in the United States is 15 years old.
Davis says it's common knowledge that Harry Hines is a trafficking hotspot.
So it happens in areas like Harry Hines, where you have the motels, you have the sexually oriented businesses, you have the strip clubs, the bars.
Davis, however, says no location in North Texas is immune. Her group organizes educational tours, showing people who want to be more aware of the surprising locations where law enforcement has busted trafficking.
You can be in South Dallas, or you can be on Harry Hines. You can also be in Plano and Richardson and Frisco. It happens in places where there may be a home with a white picket fence.
As for the 13-year-old's family, they hope to learn more from investigators while their daughter is home recovering.
She's very quiet.
I reached out to Dallas Police Department today just to see if there were any updates on its investigation. It says at this point in time, no new arrests have been made, but we'll keep you updated if we learn about any new arrests. Davidson right now in the Dallas County Jail on a $100,000 bond. Casey, for now, back to you.
Just incredible. Nice work shining a spotlight on the problem. David Centendry live for us. David, thank you.
Police say a driver who led Mesquite police on a chase was wanted for a murder in Dallas. Police say Skylar Wells stole a car Monday morning, 4 days after the murder of a youth football coach, Gerald Frazier. Wells is now facing multiple charges. Fox 4's David Centendry joining us with more. David.
Yeah, good evening, Heather. While in custody at the Mesquite jail, the suspect allegedly assaulted 4 officers, biting 2 of them. A Mesquite police pursuit Monday morning led to officers arresting a murder suspect out of Dallas. A suspect on the run for 4 days. Mesquite PD says 31-year-old Skylar Wells stole a car from this storage facility off U.S. Highway 80. Not long after that, an officer saw the car speeding, swerving, and tried to stop it.
The vehicle fled.
According to Mesquite police, the officer pursued, and as he radioed it in, another officer let him know it was a fresh, stolen car.
They were made aware of the fact that that was a stolen vehicle from a business in the city.
Spike strips deflated a tire, and police took Wells into custody. Soon learning, Wells was wanted for the murder of Gerald Frazier, a youth football coach in Dallas.
They had no idea about the murder warrant, just acting on good instinct.
According to an arrest warrant, Frazier allowed Wells to stay at a home off Springview Avenue in South Dallas. But Frazier wanted Wells to leave due to bringing constant traffic in the home and destroying the residence. That's when witnesses say Wells shot and killed Frazier. Community members organized a balloon release for Coach Frazier Tuesday evening, one day after his alleged killer was arrested.
A textbook example of why sometimes pursuits are necessary to ensure public safety. You look at the type of person that was apprehended after this one.
On top of murder, vehicle theft, and evading arrest charges, Wells faces 4 counts of assault on a public servant.
For lack of a better term, a scuffle in the detention facility. He was just uncooperative in the jail. They attempted to restrain him.
Wells allegedly bit 2 of the 4 officers he assaulted.
I think he was pepper sprayed, but he eventually calmed down on his own.
Wells's bond totals $760,000. He's currently being held at the Dallas County Jail. Heather, back to you.
David, thank you. A Dallas family is sharing disturbing security footage that captures nearby gunfire as children play in the backyard.
The family says gunfire happens too often in that area. Fox 4's Blake Hansen reports.
As security footage captures the chatter of kids playing in the backyard, suddenly
we were in the backyard and all of a sudden the shots started going off. We heard one pass right by us.
Listening back, you hear the bullet whistle past. Jessica Candanosa, her sister, and kids were just out playing in the backyard of the home near Centerville Road and Walking Drive in the Casa View neighborhood of Dallas, east of White Rock Lake, when shortly before 6 Thursday, chaos broke out.
It's scary. You know, we just in the backyard trying to have a good time, have the kids playing outside, and to have this happen in broad daylight, it's very scary.
Candanosa says the gunfire happens too often. She believes this time striking her home itself.
It's going on way too long. Every night you hear gunshots, 3, 4 in the morning, and a lot of gunshots, not just a little bit.
Now she's hoping police do something to put a stop to it.
I just wish there was a little bit more vigilance at this corner.
Until then, their lifestyle might have to change.
At this point, I don't even want them playing outside anymore.
In Dallas, Blake Hansen, Fox 4 News.
So the family says no one was injured. Police records show officers responded to a shooting call at that intersection again tonight. We've reached out to Dallas police for any details, have not heard back to this point.